We are live, right?
Uh-huh.
So, welcome
Recording.
to Corner Taken Quickly podcast, guys. Here we are with our second episode. As usual, I'm Shrina. This is Nikhil.
Right.
And we have a guest here for our second episode. That is Anshuman from FPL Tips underscore. Do follow him, guys. He'll just be joining us in soon.
Hello.
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 Hi, Anshuman. Hi.
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 Hello. Hi. Hi.
Hi.
Hi,
How are you
Srinath.
doing?
Hi.
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 This is Nikhil, the other guy from my podcast.
Yes.
Yeah.
Hello.
So,
Hello.
how are you doing?
Yeah, fine. Completely fine. Good game week.
Okay.
To end on a high note always feels nice.
Yeah. So,
We wouldn't know.
talking about our review for the game week, like uh, I again made a blunder of making the wrong person the wrong captain. So I should have made Son. In hindsight, I realized that the captain. But eventually ended up making Salah the captain, as I had a discussion with you in that regard as well. But
Yeah.
yeah. So it was like a pretty tricky choice to have a captain for this game week because as we all thought that West Ham would be parking the bus and making the Spurs attackers threat very
Run for the goal. Yeah.
exactly. So now in hindsight, we can sit down here and say that maybe Son would have been a better option, but still I'm fine with it. So, if we can quickly say what are the number of points that we got during the game week and our overall rank, that would be great. Starting off with me, I scored 63 points, taking a -4 hit, and my total points are 291 after the end of game 6-5, and my rank is 1.2 million. So, maybe I can improve it during the coming game week. So yeah, Nikhil, you can
Yeah.
tell us about the rank and the
My
points that you.
my final points for this game week was 67, and my overall is right now at 304. But overall rank is 7,14,570. I've somehow improved my rank, but shitty game week again.
Yeah, we have
And
all faced that. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
I ended up with 79 points. Just
Ah,
finished
that's
under
great.
1 million, so I'm happy because it was a bad start to the year, anyways. And
Okay,
anything under 1 million or around it is pretty much good because 305 is the or 306 is the rank for 500 top 500k. 306 points. So if you're anywhere near it, so it's fair enough because you'll get a lot of opportunities going forward.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
cool.
So yeah, what are the things that you observed during the game week? If you can let us know.
Okay, so we'll go fixture by fixture. That would just make it easier. I'll just give my
Sure.
takeaway points from each fixture.
Yeah.
So starting with Everton versus Liverpool, the
Yeah.
first point that is a major point which most people might not have noticed or maybe have noticed is that Henderson was shifted to a very right wide position. That made Trent to stay behind him, and Henderson was one who's pushing ahead and not Trent. Trent was restricted to the central part of the midfield. Whereas on the
Yeah.
left flank, Robertson was essentially played as a left winger
Yeah.
that allowed him to go forward much ahead and then put in a lot of crosses and get inside the box as well. Overall, in anyways, Robertson has been the better of the two, and Trent has been a bit more defensively this season than attack.
Yeah.
Then again, James Rodriguez, he was shifted to the number 10 role as soon as Richarlison was sent off. That's something to look out for because his next two fixtures are Southampton and Newcastle. Probably with Richarlison out, you also expect him to be on penalties
Yeah.
unless Sigurdsson
Yeah.
is playing. So that's something to note because James with his quality, if he's playing as the number 10, you definitely want him in your team, especially against two weak sides.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Nothing apart from that, then Mane was also making good runs. We expect him to be involved. As soon as Diego Jota comes in, Mane then shifts to the striker role. And he doesn't play the Firmino role. He's playing up ahead as a proper striker.
Yeah.
That's something as well you want to look at because Diego Jota will get a lot of minutes coming up, especially in the
Easily.
December period because you know there's a lot of rotation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The
Nothing
fitness
apart
levels
from that.
also.
If
The fitness of
Like
players will also count during
yeah,
December period.
yeah. But I like to ask you about one thing. The Manchester United assets, especially Marcus Rashford and Bruno Fernandes, were quite the knee jerk this game week around. Like people
Yes.
didn't have him, but what are your feels about their performance?
Pretty much, I was on a pod and I pretty much expected them to bounce back from their loss. I mean, United is not a team that is not going to rebound and it's not going to lose game week after game week. Against Newcastle, it was probably set up a counter-attacking team where Bruno played the cam and then they had two strikers up top.
Yeah.
Rashford, until Martial is back, is one of the best assets from United to own. Despite the factor that Bruno will take the penalties, Rashford will be the most involved. He is usually shifted to a very left wide role, and that is the reason he's not involved in the goal and making or scoring positions as well. So for the
Yeah.
next two game weeks, but which is Arsenal and Chelsea, it's a tough fixture. So if you can avoid, it's probably the best because United will score. I'm not saying they won't score or they can't win. But do you expect high scoring games in the next two matches? I don't think so because Chelsea, yes, they are defensively weak. They have not been that clinical. But with Thiago Silva back for the next match, it will obviously improve their morale as well.
Yeah.
Arsenal have been setting up defensively well as well. You now don't really rate them as a very attacking team, but as a defensive team at the moment.
Yeah.
So the next two matches are not really some matches you want to look at and to own them. The third match is against Everton, I feel, if I'm not wrong. After that, then they have a good run of fixtures against West Brom, and then they have Southampton, Newcastle, and all those fixtures. That is when you can switch your assets from Son probably to Bruno, because then Son has fixtures like City, Chelsea, Arsenal, etc.
Right.
Right.
So coming to our this thing, watch list that we have added since we are talking about our review itself. So the players that you think that have impressed you during the game week and is in your potential team or is in your watch list. So Anshuman, you can go ahead and tell
The
which
first
players.
thing that impressed me the most is Hamas playing as the number 10. I mean, if someone who doesn't own him right now and wants to get him, this is the right moment. He's already 8 million. He started at 7.5. He's
Yeah,
going to rise in price because he's going to perform consistently game week after game week. So
yeah,
you want him because he becomes a very differential captain. I'm not saying he's a differential pick because his ownership is very high. But when you look at the fixtures, Southampton and Newcastle, those are
yeah,
two fixtures where they can really damage, and he could be a very good captain as well. We've
yeah,
seen that he doesn't not really assist, but he can score goals as well.
yeah,
So a
Yeah.
good differential captain, I'm looking at that as well. Another factor that I'm looking at that everyone is going to have the same template team of Salah, Robertson, Son, Kane, James, DCL,
yeah,
probably even
yeah,
Mope or Wilson. So everyone
yeah,
sort of have the same team. So target your third, make a third attacker as a differential pick. It looks like Bamford is still getting a lot of chances to score enough. So if he can find that nick of form,
mhm,
something also I would go to. The third player I would consider would be Sterling. Sterling has been overlooked a lot this season. He's just 6.9% on. I mean, Sterling and Salah have the same fixtures. They face West Ham, Sheffield United, and the same team. Like they face Liverpool in the third game week. So you can actually shift to Sterling and captain him in a couple of game weeks because essentially they're playing the same role.
yeah,
If I was not so biased against Salah, I would actually go Sterling, but my bias would just stop me going Sterling. I also considering Aguero, but then a lot of people advised me also as I saw that he is in good form. He was looking good and sharp, but you don't
yeah,
expect a player to bang a hat trick or a brace just after he's come back from injury. And like it's a long injury, it's not even a short one. So
yeah,
that's something
true.
I avoided. I'm going with Kane probably a safer pick. He's not rising in price tonight, so should be good enough.
So one thing I had in mind that when Richarlison as in got injured before the international break and went off against Brighton,
Right.
we saw that James Rodriguez was playing extremely up top,
Yeah.
and he's a potential goal threat as well once Richarlison is not playing. So,
Yeah.
like again, repeating your point that James is a very good pick for the at least coming 3 game weeks till
3 game. Yeah.
Richarlison comes back.
Don't you
Also,
think Sigurdsson will be like Sigurdsson will play if Richarlison
I
is
don't
not
think
there?
Sigurdsson will play. If Richarlison is not playing, I was coming to that point. I think Iwobi will
Yeah.
start. And a very good thing about Iwobi is he does not like to take up chances. He will pass the ball inside the box. It will be either for DCL or James. If James is playing up top alongside DCL, he'll probably run in those areas. We saw this against Brighton as well. Richarlison, on the other hand, tries to cut and take a shot or probably dribble past defenders and take a shot. Iwobi won't be doing that. Iwobi will pass the ball inside the box and it will create chances for DCL and James both. So probably for the next three fixtures without Richarlison, James is actually a very good pick and also differential captain, as I said.
Yeah.
Because you want to look at players which will gain you more points.
Yeah.
I mean, everyone's going to own Son and Kane after their performance last couple of weeks. I mean, there's no differential out there now.
Yeah.
But Kane also, I think, has a hamstring problem, right?
No, he's fit enough. It was a muscle fatigue issue, and he didn't look slightly injured in the last game.
Yeah, but normally, when he touches the hamstring, he's normally gone.
He's gone, yeah. But he's looked the finest in a couple of years. I mean, I used to be a proud Kane owner in the last couple of years. Like I remember he scoring 3 hat-tricks consecutive game weeks for me, being my captain. I mean, he was the peak at that moment. But then in the last 2 years, he had a lot of injuries and he was not at peak. If you look at his game, he also took a shot outside the box which hit the post last game.
Yeah.
I mean, that is a sign of a very good player. First touch shot.
Yeah.
I mean, you can see how good form he is in.
Yeah. And not only with the goal scoring, but as well as with the assist as well. So
he's passing the ball so brilliantly, like no look passes, like Jorginho does it. I mean, amazing.
Yeah.
He's doing the link up like Firmino does.
Yeah,
for Liverpool.
But he's also greedy. So he's not just playing the Firmino role, he's going to score goals.
He's also scoring. Yeah.
So Nikhil just pointed out to me, like yesterday when we were having chat, Anshuman, that Havertz was getting into good assisting positions. Since you being a Chelsea fan, you can tell us what do you feel about Havertz, and with Werner hitting form as well in the last game week. Maybe it's the right time to bring them back in, or what?
I already have gone with Pulisic, although it did not work out well. I was really in doubts with Havertz and Pulisic. I went with Pulisic because I thought the ceiling was much higher with him. But unfortunately, Pulisic played in a right wing back role last game, and it was too disappointing to see him there.
Yeah.
Havertz again playing the proper cam role in a 4-2-3-1 formation, and you expect him to get inside the box as well. If you saw that Werner was running, but he scored a goal with an open himself not making the defender and then going inside the box. But in the all other chances, Havertz was just beside him. I expect Pulisic to be there once Chilwell is also playing and Ziyech is back, because Ziyech on the right created a lot of chances for Pulisic after he came on. He was crossing the ball diagonally, and that will help Pulisic. Havertz will still be a good option, but I would like to wait and watch for one more game, which is a United game. Anyways, it's a tough game, so you don't want them in the next game week. So observe how they're playing. Looks like between Pulisic and Havertz, owning one would be a good option because they're cheaper than Werner, and they get almost similar number of chances.
Yeah, Pulisic, I think, scored the most for Chelsea, right? Points last season, I think.
Yeah. Yes, I think it was Willian, but Pulisic was near enough.
Yeah,
because Willian had more goals last year.
And with Werner hitting form, at least we can get ourselves assured that the chances being created by those number 10s would be at least converted, and we'll be getting the assist points at least.
Yes, you'll be getting a lot of assists by him. I mean, he is the player who's linking up play with Pulisic on the right, and then Mount, who's playing on the left with him as well, and Chilwell as well. In center, they're passing with Kante. So he's gelling more with the team, and as time passes, you see him as a very emerging player for Chelsea.
And last thoughts on Werner. Is it just a wait and see for the moment?
I couldn't hear you. Your voice is probably very low.
I said that is Werner still wait and watch at the moment, or
I mean, it's not a wait and watch. You always expected him to score. I mean, it was the lack of chances which made him not score till now.
Yeah.
So it's not really a wait and watch. But the factor is that now you have premium strikers like Kane and Aguero. Aguero will soon be hitting form. So you have Kane already in your team. You have Aguero as an option, and now you have Werner as well. Vardy could be hitting form anytime as well. So it comes to a point where you have to distribute money. So do you want to go for a 9.5 million striker or go for an 8.5 midfielder who can possibly assist Werner's goal? That is happening, if you pick Havertz and Havertz is almost assisting every goal of Werner, I wouldn't see it as a loss, because for every goal scored, Werner will get 4 points, but for every assist given, Havertz to also get 3 points. There's not much of a difference if you look at the hindsight. If you look at the bigger picture, it's not much of a difference. I would actually save money and go Havertz or Pulisic.
Ah, that sounds good. And now maybe we can get down to our questions, which
Yeah.
we
Yeah.
thought that a lot of people in the Twitter segment as well as different people wanted to ask that who should we take out from the team? As in, they are pretty like quite popular, like for example, Mitrovic or someone, and in each position, that is midfield, defense, and goalkeeping, to be replaced by a person who's not being owned that much, but has a potential in the game weeks coming up.
Score big. Okay, so I'll start with the forward category. I feel like Watkins is not that owned much. He still has the
Okay.
potential to grab a goal and or maybe an assist. Against Leeds, it's going to be tough because Leeds do press well, and it's a very tough
Yep.
fixture for them. But if you ask me, he's the least owned out of them, and he's also fitting the budget criteria.
Yeah, that's right. That's
Yeah.
right.
So you want to look at the budget criteria because I'm expecting a lot of people to sell Mitrovic. I mean, I saw the match, the Fulham Sheffield match,
Yeah.
unfortunately, because it was a very boring match.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Mitrovic had plenty of chances to score at least a hat trick.
Yeah.
When I
It
say
was
at least, I
appalling.
really mean it. He could have scored at
Yeah.
least 4 to 5 goals in that game. He
Exactly.
also
Yeah.
had a penalty. So you clearly
Yeah.
seen that he's not hitting maximum form, and you don't want that. I mean, that is the
Yeah.
only position you have as a differential at the moment.
Yeah.
So
So what
probably
about
Watkins,
Brewster? What about Ryan
Brewster is
Brewster? Because I
yeah,
saw
but
him play.
yeah, he is very energetic and
Yeah.
he's getting inside the box and taking those chances. But the next two fixtures are Liverpool and City. I
Yeah.
really wouldn't go that way against City and Liverpool. Even after Van Dijk is out, Liverpool are still defensively stable. They can play Fabinho in that position. They
Yeah.
have Matip and Gomez as well. So it's not like without Van Dijk, it's going to affect Liverpool a lot. They'll concede more goals, but that doesn't mean that they are still a very bad side to attack against.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't go that way at the moment. After that, probably Brewster as an eighth attacker looks good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe for the time being, we can have him. People who are wildcarding, maybe they can have him as a 4.5 guy who warms the bench.
Yeah,
And
they can keep him as the bench warmer.
yeah. And in midfield, whom would you like to replace, and who should be coming in?
I mean, if you still have a Aubameyang, you can probably replace him with Sterling.
Yeah,
The
true.
only differential I'm looking at in the midfield, who is in form, is Sterling because Grealish, yes,
Yeah.
he's in form. You can look at him as well, but
Hmm.
he's been playing in a very deep role. I feel like he will get a lot of chances. He has one of the biggest chances in the game inside the box. So
Hmm.
yeah, he'll get those chances, but then I don't see him hitting big form and big ceiling at the moment. Big scores are not maybe coming for him.
Yeah.
Sterling, if you can get him, if you're really ballsy, get Sterling, captain him against West Ham. Probably can look at it as that as well. If you have Mane, Sterling is also an option. With Salah, it gets tricky because Salah is on penalties, which Sterling is
Yeah.
not. I feel like
True.
if it's not Aguero, if it's not Kevin De Bruyne, it could be Mahrez, but then Sterling,
Hmm.
unless he's on a hat trick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
True. True.
So I feel like Sterling is a very or Grealish. Out of the two, you can look at them. Nothing
Okay.
in the midfield apart from them at the moment.
Okay. And what are your thoughts about the defense? Who is your go-to guy to bring in if you don't have him in a team in your team?
I mean, he's not a very less known player, but Robertson is still my guy. I mean,
Yeah.
we see a
True.
lot of people are saying that the budget defenders are scoring good and they're the players to go for, but I don't feel so
Yeah.
because if you see this week's score again, the mid-priced and higher premium defenders have done well, and
Yeah.
this is happening game week after game week. So Samedo, Reguilon, Digne,
Yeah.
Robertson, they are performing. And if you ask me for a differential, I'm not sure of how much Digne is on. I'm not
Mm-hmm.
sure of the correct number, but he's also a good player because now you know that he will like the left flank will depend on Digne a lot more.
Yeah, I just bought him this game week, so like just before the price rise of Dina. So it's pretty well owned. He's 18% almost, so pretty well owned. But yeah, as in maybe a Max Gilman as well, like after yesterday's performance.
But to be very honest, I don't expect Kilman to start game week or not. I mean,
Okay.
it's between Marcel who came on as a sub last night, so it shows you that he's coming back to fitness. Point number one. They have Ant
Yeah.
Nouri, who's been one of the good left backs in the championship, and you know he's in the previous league, and you know he's gonna get chances.
Yeah.
Saiz hasn't been dropped in from the team in the last 1.5 year. So do you really
Yeah.
expect Cleveland to just come up, play a good game, and then get replaced by a player who's not been dropped in 1.5 years? To me, it
Yeah.
looks really fishy. I don't expect Saiz to get dropped, and Marcel a was bought for the left back role, like
Yeah.
left
Yeah.
wing back role. So
Yeah.
probably that will happen. Marcel would go there, or Saiz would stay in the left back role, and Marcel in the left centre back role. Kilman still looks very skeptical. I would just wait. If he still starts again with Marcel being completely fit, which is in the
Mhm.
next 2 game weeks, then you can probably go for Kilman. I mean, his price would still be 4.2 at max.
Yeah.
That's still a very budget defender.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we have had our thoughts with regards to Tyrick Mitchell. So, like, what's your take regarding him? Like with Van Aanholt coming back.
I I was not expecting him to start initially. That Patrick Arnold might get in the left back role directly, but again, he did not start because maybe Roy Hodgson does not want to rush him through his injury.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
also a point to note that Schlupp still played. It could be a
Yeah.
factor that Mitchell starts in the left back role and Patrick Arnold takes the Schlupp position in the midfield.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He has
So
played there
because
before.
Schlupp is originally a left back, he's not a
Yeah.
midfielder. He's not a winger. You know,
Yeah.
Patrick Arnold is much better than Schlupp, and Schlupp has always been benched in, and Patrick Arnold was always pushed ahead. So that could be a formation where they take the 4-4-2, and Schlupp
Mhm.
is replaced by Patrick Van Arnold, and Mitchell stays in the left back role. That's the reason if you're on a wild card, you can go for
Mhm.
Kilman, but I would still recommend Mitchell at the moment because he's still high. He's higher in price, so you can obviously downgrade to Kilman anytime you want.
Yeah. So it's like with Mitchell owners in the managers who are having Mitchell at this point. So it's a wait and watch. Like
Yeah,
we can
just wait
have
and
it.
watch. Like just hope. Like next game week, I'm
Yeah.
gonna play Mitchell in my team. So if he doesn't play, he's not gonna come on. He's not. Raw Hudson is not a manager who's gonna substitute defenders for defenders. He'll probably bring on Milojevic and more central defensive midfielder
Yeah.
players to protect the game, but he'll not sub on a defender for a defender. So you can
Yeah.
probably play Mitchell next game week as well. If he starts, he has a good fixture. Probably will get a clean sheet as well.
Yeah. And maybe a last question. For managers who have not wildcarded yet, so this is a question for me as well, since I have not played the wildcard as of yet. So which is the best time to do so? Like this is a very subjective question. This depends
Yes.
on manager to manager. But like, yeah, what are your thoughts on your wildcarding strategy? Maybe.
I made a mistake and a wildcard in game week 3. It did not go well because my team was not good. So I actually just did wildcard out of frustration this year. Did not turn well. I was really hoping if I had wildcard last week in the
Mm-hmm.
international break, it would have been perfect. I mean, now you know the players you want at the moment. So it depends on the manager. If you want to make 5-6 changes, if you don't have the players like James Rodriguez, DC, and Son, Kane, either of them,
Yeah.
Salah, Robertson, if you don't have these premium players at the moment of the game, like they're in their
Mm-hmm.
peak form. If you don't have them
Right.
now, you probably want to get them before their
Mm-hmm.
fixtures turn around.
So I'll just take my example for instance. So I'll just quickly tell you what my team is for the coming game week, and maybe you can let me know about what kind of strategy I should be having. So at McCarthy, there's at goalkeeping there's McCarthy and Nyland. Since I bought him in at the beginning of the season, and I have this policy of not changing the goalkeepers during the
Yeah,
yeah.
fair enough.
So in the left back role, there's Robertson, then there's Ailing, then there's Dinia, there's Justin from Leicester, and there's Mitchell.
Yeah.
And in the midfield, Salah, Son, Sterling, Podence, and Suchek. And in the forward line, there's Calvert Lewin, Jimenez, and Mitrovic.
Okay, so the only player missing out of the lot is probably James Rodriguez and Kane.
Yeah, yeah,
So if you want Kane that desperately, you can probably downgrade someone, get money, and upgrade Jimenez. Because
yeah.
Mitrovic to Kane is going to be very expensive at the moment.
Yeah. I've
Yeah.
actually played my free transfer, so
Free
I've bought
transfer.
in Dinia. So
Or
for the
you, or just like me, you can hope that Kane blanks this week.
yeah,
Probably Son gets a goal. Apart from that, nothing. I honestly feel like Burnley could be a tricky fixture, although they've been conceding a lot of shots and big chances. But historically, only one game has been more than two goals scored in that fixture. Like the game last year at Tottenham's home was 5-0. Apart from that, all games have been 1-0 or 1-1.
Yeah.
So you don't really expect a lot of goals in that game. Hopefully Sean Dyche does better defensively. Last night as well, West Brom were exploiting their defense. I mean, West Brom did not clinically finish those chances, but Son and Harry Kane won't miss them.
Yeah.
And now with Bale back in the side, they have the pace on both sides.
Yeah.
So it's going to be a good watch. But I really hope that Kane blanks, because that gives you an edge. Because if you're not
Yeah.
captaining Kane and Kane blanks, which most people will captain, you're ahead
Yeah.
in the game.
Yeah.
So yeah, for the next couple of game weeks, I'm looking at a differential captain, probably in the midfield.
Yeah.
I know I'm going to captain James Rodriguez in the next two fixtures at least once.
I'll be with Sheffield at least with the next game week. I'll be captaining Salah.
Same.
But yeah,
Yeah,
Nikhil, you
I
can.
feel like that's a very good captaincy option for me. I'm this week I'm between Salah and Son.
Yeah.
So depending on how they perform in the Champions League and Europa League respectively, if they don't have injuries.
Yeah.
But if I had to suggest captaincy options, there would be Salah, Son, Sterling as a very good differential captain. Apart from that, Kane, yes, you can bank on him, but it's going to be tough because now he will play in a deeper Firmino role, because now he has
Yeah.
Son and Bale both to pass to. Initially, he
Yeah.
was just attacking, passing it to Son. Now
Yeah.
Bale is also going to play as an inside forward. So it's good to watch how they set up for the Burnley game.
Yeah. True. So Nikhil, you have some questions to ask Anshuman?
Yeah, I had this policy that I don't use United or Everton players in my squad normally. I've only broken that twice. Like 3 seasons ago, I had De Gea, and right now, Diesel. I have gotten Diesel for this game week. So normally, like many of my friends also have this policy, Liverpool fans, like they don't have United or Everton players.
Yeah.
So instead of Diesel, James, Rashford, and Bruno, who will you have from other teams, like in that price range?
Okay, so apart from the Everton and United
United.
assets, I mean, to be very honest, don't let your emotions come into the game. I mean, James is the best in the lot. I mean, Grealish is a very good alternative as well, as I said, but he's
Yeah.
not going to perform as much as James Rodriguez. You know, James has the quality. Grealish is good, but does he have the quality of the James level? No. So I feel like still get over your emotions. Probably go James Rodriguez if you can. But if you still can't, Son is a very good alternative.
Yeah, I already have Sun and
Yeah.
DCL. I
So
gotten DCLs to be safe.
yeah, so probably have Son already. Apart from that, you can look at Havertz or Pulisic. It's going to be 50-50 shout. You can go Havertz for one more reason, that he's going to be inside the box during corners, and his heading ability is really
Yeah.
nice.
For he
That is
headed a
another
lot
factor
for
you want him.
Leverkusen.
Yeah, he did score a lot of headers for
Yeah.
Leverkusen.
Yeah.
That's another factor that comes into play when picking the Pulisic versus Havertz debate. Apart from that, in that price bracket, nothing really crosses my mind. No big player has been performing that well.
That's the thing.
Yeah,
Many of
because
my friends.
now you have a set midfield. Like nobody is really performing. Aubameyang is
Yeah.
taking 1.2 shots per game, and he's 49th ranked in the entire game. But he's shooting 1.2 shots per match, and he's 49th ranked in the FPL game. We expected him to be a very good asset, but he's not been performing. I mean, so your premium options are getting reduced. Kevin De Bruyne is injured. Mahrez is not really reliable to get start. Bernardo, Pep said in a press conference that Bernardo could be back to full fitness and he'll start more games and he'll be the core City asset to like look forward for in the season. But then he's Pep. Do you really trust Spurs? I don't trust Pep at all. I mean, he's going to say that Kevin De Bruyne will play the next match and boom, Kevin De Bruyne benched. So not really much options. City assets Foden would still be a good differential, but City without Kevin De Bruyne have not created a lot. Last match against Arsenal, I expected at least 2 or 3 goals. So you saw Aguero to drop deep, like they were playing a weird formation last game, anyways. Like
He
every player of
tried.
theirs
Yeah.
average position was in the other half. Nobody was behind the line. So they played really weird against Arsenal, and Aguero was playing behind Sterling, and Sterling Foden were given chances to go ahead. So you can still own Foden if you want as a differential pick.
So yeah, maybe I just have one last question for you to ask. Then maybe we can wrap up this session. So, what are your thoughts on Pulisic? Why did he start on the right when you know that he generally is a left winger and likes to cut in and all? So with ZH coming in and maybe with Werner starting in his natural position, that is of the number 9. So, what is your think about the positions and all? Where what shall be the exact formation for Chelsea?
I think Chelsea is going to adopt a 4-2-3-1.
Okay.
Aspilicueta on the right for defensive purposes only, because defensively Reece is not that great.
Yeah.
So right back Aspilicueta, center Thiago Silva and Zuma, left back Chilwell. In the
Yeah.
center you have Jorginho or Kovacic alongside Kante, because Kante cannot be replaced unless he's injured. Then in the up top three you have Havertz in the center. On the right you have Ziyech. On the left you have Pulisic and
Yeah.
Werner up top, number 9. The last game week, what happened was Mount is not really good enough to play on the right wing. I mean, he's
Yeah.
always played on the left side, and Chelsea has always been there. I mean, he has zero experience on playing on the right. Pulisic does have some experience for playing on the right in Dortmund.
Yeah.
That was the factor that involved us to place Pulisic on the right, and then Mount was played on the left, natural position. But that's not going to happen. Mount will eventually get benched unless Lampard decides to get emotional and play Mount again. I mean,
Yeah.
it's a horrific decision, to be honest. As a fan, as we see it, Mount should definitely get benched. We have the quality of players playing, and Ziyech, Pulisic, and Havertz should be our midfield three. Apart from
Uh,
that, also if you note that Ziyech was defensively not that great, so Reece again would lose his position, because you need that stability. As soon as Ziyech came on, all the
yeah.
chances were created from his side. He lost
Yeah.
position, and Southampton had a lot of ball on that side. So
Yeah.
if Lampard really saw that thing, he would know that he needs protection behind Ziyech, but it would be
Yeah.
Aspilicueta. Reece would not provide it.
Yeah. True.
So,
With regards to Werner, his positioning at Leipzig was a little more this thing, no, was a second striker-ish sort
Yes.
of a role. It was not a proper number 9. What are your thoughts on him going in the long run?
I unless there is a second striker played alongside him, which is either
Mm-hmm.
Giroud or Abraham, he would
Mm-hmm.
continue to attack the balls, because with a second striker, with a striker alongside him, he tends to drift left, and then he tries to gather ball and probably pass it to the other striker.
Yeah.
If he's the only striker for Chelsea playing in the game, so I expect him to be inside the box, make those runs, and score goals.
Okay. Okay. So yeah, that was our time, guys. So those were my questions. Nikhil, you have some things to say?
no, mostly my questions were answered. Don't be emotional. That's the first thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
don't like, even I actually removed Werner off my team in game week 3, because I was like, I want him to
Same.
score as a Chelsea fan, but then he's not even scoring in FPL. Neither is Chelsea performing in the PL.
I
So it's
I took
disappointing in both
Werner.
ways.
Yeah, I took Werner in because I watched Bundesliga last season. I knew he would score. I got
Yeah.
disappointed. Removed him. He
I
scored.
understand, but
Yeah, he's
hopefully
not a
he'll
bad
be
player,
back
of
for
course.
chances.
Yeah, he's not a bad player, but
Yeah,
just
I
needs
mean
time.
there was lack of quality of chances given to
Yeah,
him. I mean, nobody's
exactly.
passing him the ball. How will he score?
True, true. So yeah, guys, this was our time, and thanks a lot, Anshuman, for joining us in.
Yeah,
Thanks, man.
Maybe we can have a few more podcasts together in the future. This was fun. This was extremely knowledgeable for all the FPL guys going around. So we'd like to see us like be in touch regularly and all. So yeah,
Thanks for having me onto the
yeah, yeah, yeah.
podcast.
Yeah, it's always a pleasure to have you. Yeah. So yeah, so that was our time, guys. So it's up, and all the best for the next game.
Thank you.